Good day to each and everyone. I am Irene Aclag, your discussant. This day, we are going to tackle community language learning. Community language learning, it is the name of a method developed by Charles A. Curran and his associates in Chicago, 1955. Curran was a specialist in counseling and a professor of psychology at Loyola University, Chicago. His application of psychological counseling techniques to the learning is known the counseling learning. Community language learning represents the use of counseling learning theory to teach languages. So Charles A. Curran, he was a psychologist. He is better known the creator of community language learning. Introduction. It advises teachers to take their students as whole person. Whole person learning means that teachers consider not only the students' intellect but also their feelings. Teachers become language counselors. It's given no threatening to students. When we say whole person, they take to account their feelings, physical reactions, instinctive, protective reactions, and he or she desired to learn during the process. As a teacher, we must be a counselor to our student. The teacher is the counselor to their students. They are going to guide their student in the learning process. They are going to be with them and they are going to help them. Unique features. Student decide topics. Teachers translate. Teachers are counselors. Students are clients. 100% safe. Learning is inductive. Theory of learning. Curran's counseling experience led him to conclude that the techniques of counseling could be applied to learning in general, counseling learning, and to language teaching in particular, CLL. The CLL view of learning is a holistic one, since true human learning is both cognitive and affective. This is termed whole person. Such learning takes place in communicative situations where teachers and learners are involved in interaction. So when we say cognitive and affective, language is for communication and improvement of creative thinking. The focus is on sharing and interacting rather than grammar or sentence form. A confidence must develop between between students and teachers. The process is divided into 5 stages and compared to the development of a child. 5 stages are both psychological and linguistic. The first three are entry stages and the last two are of increasing maturity. According to Curran, there are 6 factors which are essential to non-defensive whole person learning process. Number 1, a sense of security. For this factor, al- this sense of security allows people to temporarily overcome their own anxieties and forego their needs in order to attend to the plight of others. Number two, playing, paying attention to language in all its forms. When teachers pay attention to language the way linguists do, they gain an understanding of the relation between students' spoken language. Number three, experience a feeling of assertion and aggression when ready. When we say self-assertion, you might have felt unable to do anything about it at all time, but learning how to be more assertive, you can stand up for yourself and become a strong and confident communicator. Number four, reflection and participation in the class activities. Participation in class discussion and online activities is important in any learning endeavor because it promotes effective learning activities, stimulates creativity, and instills confidence. As a teacher, we must see to it that there is an interaction between the teacher and the students. Because when there is interaction between the students and the teachers, there is a learning between the or there is a learning in the students. Number five, internalization by retention at a deep level. When we say internalization, the action of accepting or absorbing an idea. Number six, discrimination discrimination among the various elements of language and their functions. Language language discrimination occurs when a person is treated differently because of her native language or other characteristic of her language skills. Design. Objectives. The goal of this method is attaining near native mastery of the target language. Specific goals include developing a whole person learning process and a trusting relationship among the member of the class. When we say attaining near native mastery, levels of proficiency that cannot be distinguished from native levels in everyday spoken communication and only become apparent through detailed linguistic analysis. The syllabus. CLL does not use a conventional language syllabus, which determines in advance the grammar, vocabulary, and other items to be taught in specific orders. The course progression is topic-based with learners choosing the message they wish to communicate to other learners in the class. It involves its own syllabus. Types of learning and teaching activities. CLL combines innovative learning tasks and activities with more traditional ones. They include translation, group work, recording, transcription, analysis, reflection and observation, listening, free conversation. When we say translation, as a teacher, we are the translator to our students. We are going to translate the difficult word or abstract word into a specific word or into a easy word. In group work, as a teacher, we have to group our students for them to interact to each other. Number three, recording. As a teacher, we have to record the conversation of our students. Teachers might use a digital voice recording device such as MP3 player a cell phone, or a computer or a computer. Next is transcription. The teachers transcribe the students' recorded target language conversation. So in this case, the teacher will transcribe or list every single word recorded. The student can perceive or see the words they said before. Next is analysis. Analysis, it enhances the creativity of a child. Reflection and observation. In this case, students' feedbacks about the class, the teachers understand them shows that he or she has listened carefully by giving an appropriate understanding response to what the student has said. As a teacher, we have to ask our students if they are learning to our topics. We are going to ask them, are you learning? What can you say about the class? Then the students will respond and give their feelings whether they are learning or not. In this case, reflection observation, there is an interaction between the learners and the teacher. Next is listening. So, listening, this case, we are going to observe if the students is listening to our discussion. We have to we have to ask some questions about about the topic about the topic we have tackled. Next is free conversation. In this case, we have to let our students express their feelings, give some examples about our discussion, so that there is an interaction between the teacher and the students. Next slide, learner rules. Learning is not viewed as an individual accomplishment but as something that is achieved collaboratively. Learners become members of a community. Learner is equal to client. L- learn 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 through counseling with their teacher and classmates. They listen carefully to the knower, repeat the target utterances, support fellow members of the community, report deep inner feelings, and act as counselors to other learners. CLL compares language learning to stages of human growth. Therefore, the learner plays many different roles in the process of maturation. Stage 1. Like an infant, completely dependent repeats utterances, overhear other interactions. Stage 2. A measure of independence produce simple expressions. Stage 3. The separate existence stage begin to understand directly in the target language. Stage 4. A kind of adolescence functions independently, ask for correction. Stage 5. Independent stage improve their understanding of register as well as grammar and native-like constructions to their language. Teacher rules. Play the role of counselor, respond calmly and non-judgmentally, having a supportive manner, help the client to understand the problem better, provide a safe environment. More specific teacher rules are: provide target language translations, monitoring learner utterances, providing assistance when requested, may intervene directly to correct the problem, advise on usage of grammar. The role of instructional materials. Since a CLL course develops out of the interactions among the members of the community, a textbook is not considered a necessary component. Material may be developed by the teacher as the course develops. Conversation may also be transcribed and distributed for study and analysis. Learners may work in groups to produce their own materials. Activities of the class. The students introduce themselves to each other in Learning 1. Activities of the class. The instructor chooses some sentences from the recorded materials and writes them on the board to discuss the elements of grammar, spelling, and capitalization. Students are encouraged to ask questions. Students are encouraged to copy sentences from the board with notes on meaning and usage. That could be all. Thank you.